All right, so next up, I wanted to talk about the crypto world a little bit. For those of you that aren't aware of how trading crypto works, which is buying and selling it's how you tend to make money. You have to do it on something called an exchange because there has to be a person to buy what you're selling and vice versa. If you want to buy something, there has to be someone selling to you. And so all these exchanges popped up during this huge crypto boom. And a lot of people were just keeping their cryptocurrency on those exchanges because it wasn't worth it to pull it off and on if they were trading every day. And I don't think that's the smartest idea. That just is what a lot of people were doing. And a lot of these cryptocurrency exchanges have been going bankrupt, having huge issues, not allowing people to withdraw all their funds. It's been a crap show. And one of the biggest ones was FTX, which up until about a week ago was known as one of the better exchanges, one of the best actually. Yeah, now they're going bankrupt and they're starting to place holds on all these withdrawals and it looks like they're about $8 billion shorts on their books. It's not a very good situation. But it got even worse because not only did they declare Chapter 11 bankruptcy earlier this week, but last night they got hacked. And $500 million got stolen on top of them already declaring bankruptcy and being short $8 billion. FTX says it's removing trading and withdrawals and moving digital assets to a cold wallet after a $477 million suspected hack. So not only was there already a bunch of issues, but if you still had crypto or money on there for some reason, this absolutely sucks because it seems like you're probably just locked out now until they figure out what's going on. I don't know how these crypto exchanges don't manage to have some of the best security in the world. From what I understand from some videos I've watched, I'm not an expert, FTX was making not in profit, but in terms of revenue, over $10 million a day in revenue. If you have that much business going through your business every single day, it's probably worth it to invest very heftily in security. Because it's nuts that one person can hack into these companies and walk away with $500 million. Is there really no fail-safe if there's not a two-factor code or something that can't be spoofed? It's not like a nuclear launch button where two people have to stick the keys in and turn them at the same time to withdraw anything over $100 million. I just feel like it's nuts that there's not a lot of safeguards. And I'm sure there are safeguards. I'm not saying the hacker's not talented. Clearly, he hacked into a multi-billion-dollar company. He's way smarter than I would ever be at it. But it's nuts that a company this size can't prevent that. That's what's absolutely bonkers to me. You know people are going to try. If you're a crypto exchange, people are going to try to hack you. It happens to all of them. So I just don't understand why that's not priority number one for every single crypto exchange. Because it seems like more often than not when we're talking about these stories and they start to go insolvent, someone somewhere takes a bunch of money and fakes their death or whatever. John Ray, FTX's new CEO and chief restructuring officer, said the bankrupt crypto exchange is in the process of removing trading and withdrawal functionality, and it's moving as many digital assets as can be identified to a new cold wallet custodian. And that's according to a statement tweeted by the company's general counsel, Ryan Miller. The announcement comes as the failed exchange investigates what it's calling unauthorized transactions that began within hours of FTX filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in the United States. It's crazy how fast all of this went down. Basically, it all started when FTX was starting to run into some troubles, with liquidity, which is just the ability for people to take out their money and provide the current amount of currency. Not current amount of currency, the amount of currency needed to facilitate those transactions. And there were some rumors that they were starting to have issues, which raised some alarm bells. And so a lot of the more savvy investors that were aware of all these bankruptcies that were going down went in and withdrew their money. Well, that doesn't necessarily help liquidity. And so the rumors started to spiral more, and then they admitted that they were having problems. And one of the other biggest crypto exchanges, Binance, was like, hey, maybe we'll be able to work something out and buy you out. They announced that that was going to be the plan. A few days after that, or maybe not even a few days, maybe a day after that, they come out and they're like, yeah, after investigating what's going on, we're not going to be able to do anything about this because it's just out of control. And after that, it's been a downward spiral and they ended up declaring bankruptcy. And up to like 2 weeks ago, before all this went down, the founder of this company was going around being like, I'm the world's most charitable billionaire. Which, listen, I'm not saying that like every single billionaire is a Batman evil villain, but I'm just gonna throw it out there that the more somebody has to go around and be like, look at how awesome and good I am, there's usually something that like they don't really necessarily want people to know about and be looking into, and it might be the fact that your giant crypto exchange doesn't have liquidity and is running into a bunch of monetary problems. But as long as you're known as the charitable billionaire guy, it's like, well, you know, these things happen. Come on, he's so nice. And I'm not going to accuse him of doing that because I'm an idiot talking over Bloons Tower Defense gameplay, and you should take none of this seriously. None of this is like a serious accusation. I'm just talking out of my butt. But it is interesting how like he tried to come out on YouTube and be like, I'm just the nicest billionaire that's ever existed. And then all of a sudden his company's bankrupt, and it's looking like there's going to be a lot of people that just can't take their money out, especially after this hack if they're going to lock withdrawals. And I don't know if all of this was just like a house of cards that happened to fall apart. Nobody knows yet. There's so much up in the air. I think anyone that claims to know the entire story at this point is lying. I'm just keeping you guys up to date on what I've tried to understand so far. I'm not like an expert. I just think this is very interesting. The new FTX chief said the exchange is coordinating with law enforcement and relevant regulators about the breach, and it's making every effort to secure all assets globally. Miller, FTX's general counsel, said the decision to push digital assets into cold storage was meant to mitigate damage upon observing unauthorized transactions. People who choose to hold their own cryptocurrency can stole it, haha, get it because it got hacked, hot or cold or a combination of the two. A hot wallet is connected to the internet and allows owners relatively easy access to their coins so they can access and spend their crypto, whereas cold storage generally refers to crypto stored in wallets whose private keys are not connected to the internet. The trade-off for convenience with hot storage is potential exposure to bad actors. I'm not a crypto guru, I'm not a stock guru either, that's what I pay more attention to. But I can say even I have realized at this point that if you're going to have crypto, cold storage is really the only way to go. Because it seems like every other week there's an exchange somewhere that gets hacked for like $30 million. And because crypto isn't insanely regulated yet, there's not a whole lot of like regulations on what happens in that scenario. Sometimes the exchanges are like, yeah, we'll cover it. Sometimes they steal too much and they can't. A bank, most banks, a credible bank has like an FDIC insurance on it, which basically means that if that bank goes out of business, the federal government will give you up to $250,000 from like what you have in that bank. So if a bank's being dumb and over leverages and goes bankrupt, like the government will come in and give you what you have in the bank. So unless you have a ton of money there, you'll get your money back. These crypto exchanges are not regulated at all, and most investment products don't have FDIC insurance, I don't think most brokerage accounts do, but still, if you're going to be holding your crypto in a savings account on one of these exchanges, the idea is it should be in a place where, it's not easily accessible. People can't take it. And apparently, once again, I'm not an expert. This is just from other people that are smarter than me I've heard explaining this. What a lot of these exchanges have started to do is take that capital that's supposed to be sitting in those savings account and start trying to leverage it so they can make more money. In order to do that, the wallet has to be easily accessible, so all of these funds that people are thinking are safely stored somewhere are really in a hot wallet. So if someone gets in and hacks you, they can just drain you. And I'm not a crypto expert. That's just what I've understood from listening to smarter people explain it. It's nuts that all of this is going down back to back to back, though. It's like this company could not get any more wombo-comboed by A, having the liquidity crisis, having someone say they're going to step in, and then have to back away, because it's so screwed up that there's no way they're going to be able to fix it. And the company that stepped in is kind of known for, being the guy who comes in and saves the day whenever things go sideways like this, so if even they were backing away, you know it has to be bad. And I don't know, it's just a crapshoot. And it's also coming over to the financial side of YouTube, because a ton of the biggest financial YouTubers were sponsored by this company. And there's a huge question of You told your audience to put your money there, so are you even capable of calling yourself a financial expert? I don't have a horse in that race. I'm too dumb. I have my opinions, but my opinions on it are not as smart as other people's, so I'm gonna keep them to myself on that front. The only thing I'll say about it, anyone that's making money to give you financial advice, you should probably think a little bit more about whether that advice is being given because it's good advice or because there's a potential for them to make money. Business is business, People aren't going to do a bunch of stuff for free. So you always have to question what is the profit motive for somebody. And some of these YouTubers don't care about whether or not you lose money as long as they get the bag. That sucks, but you just got to be aware of it and just think twice before you invest in anything.